we are here to not only present something, but also get your feedback on it. So happy to get it. You have been invited. I need not tell you much. My name is Ludwig Karg. I'm just giving the introduction, and then I will hand over to my colleagues, Michael, Ann-Kathrin, Andreas, to present this tool in the framework of the DECIDE project, which you, I guess, know. We have been dealing a lot with the frameworks and the incentives and whatever of collective energy initiatives. Whether they are just collective actions or an energy community, it doesn't matter. So we looked at that, and then after a while we came across the question, now there are many out there, some succeed, some don't, some have died already. So what makes an initiative a successful initiative? So we looked at a series of KPIs, but Michael will tell you, we found, I don't know, 150 KPIs that people cannot really handle. From that, we worked a lot and we condensed it into a tool. You will see the tool, we will explain it, you will use the tool. The idea is to do a self-assessment. So that's the situation. As said before, we are recording it. If you don't want to have you in the records, shut up and switch off. We have an agenda. Now we are in welcome introduction. So that's me. I'm going to show you some background. Then I think it will be Michael to present the tool as such. Then we will not do this tool together. So we will explain how it works. Towards the end, we will tell you, okay, do it, give us feedback. But first of all, we also want to get some more general input from you guys. How would you use such a tool, and when would you use it, to what end would you use it, and so on. And then we would do two parallel working sessions on that. We explain that, we share the results, and towards the end, you can use the tool as long as you want and give us feedback as long as you want. So first of all, we would like to also have feedback with an internet-based tool, the Slido. I think you know how to use these tools. When you want to join us, if you want to give us online feedback, you might want to either sign into www.slido.com. Remember this number, or take it down, the 3087324, or if you have a smartphone at hand, you can scan the QR code. What you will need in both cases is a passcode, which is printed on the bottom. So I give you a second to do it, or at least write it down before I go ahead. So just in case, I think, Ann-Kathrin, you can put the code in the chat, so people that come late can still join us. So there's no question yet, right? So you just get there, and when we are at the point, we will ask you the question and open a survey. Okay? It's open already.
Yeah, I've stolen you the screen sharing so that we can see the results, and then you take it back.
Okay, so this is more or less a test vote. So what type of community do you represent? So we have consultancies, we have research, we have also some 20% energy communities. So we have a good mixture of, I would call, academia and practitioner. How are you?
Yeah, we should start at the beginning, I think.
Are you still sharing?
Yeah, I do, I think.
Does everybody have that?
Yeah, better to start at the beginning.
It works. Okay. So Slido works. I take it back. If you switch off, please, so I can keep sharing.
Maybe you can also share your country so that we can see where you're coming from.
So we have Austria, Estonia, Switzerland, Hungary. What else? Greece is here. Kalimera.
Austria again. This was
Austria.
Michael and Andreas, I think.
Austria have the majority.
Yeah, okay. Take the screen back if you want, Ludwig, and then we'll continue.
Okay. Let's continue. Background. As I said, what we have developed in the framework of the Decide is a self-assessment tool, gives you insights into what we would call key performance features of an initiative. And again, it doesn't depend what type of initiative, as long as it is something collective in energy, whether energy community or not. First of all, we would address the leaders or the representatives of such a collective action. They should be and probably are interested in knowing a bit about the core strengths and key weaknesses of their initiative so they can act. What is built into the tool is a lot of insight from other projects, and we don't only have technical people, we have market people, we have legal people, we have social, psychological people in the team. So we can look at such an initiative from multiple angles. And it does not only assess and say, okay, you are good or bad, it also gives you recommendations. So what can you do in that situation? We have focus maybe on three frameworks. The market, that's the question of what is the capacity of the initiative to take an active role. So most of them somehow deal with money, not only, but they deal with money. So we talk about what is the market framework and how are you well set up so you can use the market framework. Then we talk about the framework around you, to what extent or to which is environment supportive for the initiative. Do you have a chance at least? And we also talk about the functional internal organization and representativeness of the people and so on, because we don't feel, we know that the more people are involved, the more stable the initiative will be. So that is the three most important dimensions, but Michael will tell you more about that. As I said, it has been developed in Decide, but there was a predecessor activity in the project Compile where they looked at such KPI systems, and I think they also created something, was it Excel based or something that we could build on. Maybe terminology. When we worked with that, we had the issue that people using terms differently. So I'd like to share how we use it. What is maturity? Maturity we defined as resilience and robustness of an initiative against unexpected changes in the energy system and market framework. Might sound a bit strange, but it says, okay, if you are mature, you can even stand difficult situations, and there will be difficult situations. Then the next term, scalability. So you have something, you have an organization, an initiative or something. What is scalability? That's the ability to continue to function well when becoming bigger. So it's not necessary that you become bigger, but you could want to, but then you would have to know if you are able to do so. So are you scalable, or are you defined in a way so you by definition stay small, which is not bad, but you should know it. And replicability means, does it also work at other places, different environments, other stakeholders and so on? Can you replicate it? I think that's easier to understand. The dimensions, but here I think I should at a time hand over to Michael, because he can explain why we have these 8 relevant dimensions. and how we tackle it.
Yeah.
Is that fair, Michael?
That's very fair. Thanks, Ludwig, for the introduction and for already giving us the overview over the a little bit of the background. As Ludwig said, actually, it's a quite long process which stands behind what we are going to present to you today. But I don't want to be too scientific today, because we said, okay, we want a very practical session here, and really want to show you or try to give you input that you can use in your initiatives. So just very shortly as a background, what we did after we have found these goals of maturity and scalability, what we think we want to measure is that we did a lot of literature research. We did a lot of expert interviews. We also did workshops in Decide and also before in Compile. And we asked the people and read the literature, what might be the dimensions that are relevant for initiatives, for energy initiatives. And we came up with this solution here. You can see here with these 8 relevant dimensions. We very often see that members and supporters are seen as a very important group, of course, for all things communities are doing or initiatives are doing. Then what we also see very often is that there usually is a core team which actually are the ones who are keeping the initiative going in the everyday work. So we thought, okay, it's important to understand how good is the core team, or how major is the core team. Then we have the economic stability, of course. Ludwig already said, money always is an issue, of course. So it's relevant, of course, to see, okay, how stable can an initiative be? Then we also look at political and societal backing, meaning how good is the initiative embedded in the surrounding communities, and also the politics. Do they have support by local politicians, or are they probably even opposed? What do the people around the community think about it, and so on? Then, of course, we thought, okay, we need to also look at technical and organizational setup. So seeing, okay, technically, is everything working as it should work, and is the organization made, tailored in a way that it really fulfills the goal it has? Then we also look at knowledge management, meaning that especially since initiatives very often are quite experimental, so to say, there need to be some possibilities to learn within the initiative and to share the knowledge between the members to become bigger and become better. Yeah? And then we have 2 dimensions which are more strongly related, especially to scalability. This is, first of all, the regional experience with innovation, meaning if you want to become bigger, of course, you need to have more people, and that if you get these people might be quite strongly dependent on how open the people are to do these new things. Yeah, and we want to measure that. And of course, the other aspect is how is the market in the region you are working in? Is there a lot of concurrence? Are there probably some other market players you can collaborate with, and so on? Yeah. So we created these dimensions out of a lot of background work, as I said. And for all these dimensions, we created also a lot of indicators to measure them. Yeah, actually, at the end, we had more than 60 indicators, but very fast we realized, okay, you cannot ask representatives of initiatives to fill out 60 or more indicators. Yeah, so okay, our next task then was to say we need for each and every dimension to identify the most important indicator and first ask for this one. Yeah. And here you already can see the first screenshot of the tool we built with that. We identified these indicators and then have a two-step approach for measuring it. First one is just really this in our view, most important indicators, which are 11 in total. And we will provide you the link at the end of this session, and then you can go on the homepage. Here you can see 2 of these questions we are asking here. You can fill out it. I think it's 11 questions in total. And if you do that, next slide, please. The first thing you get is this feedback here, which can be understood in a way that the bigger the triangle is, the more mature and scalable is your community according to your answers in this specific dimension. Yeah, you see again here the dimension, the different dimensions I mentioned before. Yeah, and you can see, as I said, the bigger the triangle, the more important or the more mature is your community in this aspect. This is not the only thing you can get from this from this tool we were creating here. Second thing is, of course, as I said before, we tried to identify the most important questions for every dimension. But of course, this only gives a very rough feedback, I would say, on this dimension. So if you say, I don't agree with what comes out here, or I think that I want to give more detailed answers to a certain specific dimension, you can do that. Then you get, like, I think it's 10 to 15 more questions only to this dimension, which then gives you a more detailed feedback, a more concrete feedback, so to say. Another aspect we included is that we said, okay, for initiatives, it might be quite interesting to see if other people within their own initiative see the things in the same way as the first one who fills out the questionnaire. So we created the possibility to forward this questionnaire to other members. That must be done by email, since we didn't want to collect all the emails addresses for GDPR reasons and for reasons of privacy. But everyone who fills out this questionnaire or this tool has the possibility to forward the questionnaire to other people, and then you get a second feedback where you can see how different people answered the questions. Yeah, because we think that might also be in really relevant and important information for you as representatives of an initiative, if you really see the initiative in a similar way than others do. Yeah, you can see here how it looks like. The blue lines are here the answers from two people from the same initiative, and the yellow lines is the average from these people. Yeah, and so you can, for example, identify, okay, where are the dimensions where we have very different views on our initiative. Here, for example, political and societal backing was answered quite differently from these two people, which might indicate that probably you should talk with the other people there about what's going on and why these different views are happening. And the last thing we also included is, of course, just knowing that you are major in a specific way might not be enough. And so we try to also give some recommendations and links to, first of all, better understand why we think a specific dimension is relevant, and second, give you some links to deliverables, other tools, articles, whatsoever, which might give you more information on this specific dimension. If you say, for example, okay, I want to change something I see here in the tool, we are not performing as I think we should perform in this specific dimension. You can have a look there and see if there are some good advice for you to give you some ideas how you probably can change the thing. Yeah, I think this is actually the tool. Yeah.
Thanks for this quick introduction. We discussed in length if we should ask you now to do the test. But still, it takes only some minutes. But then if you dig into the more detailed questions, and if you invite some other people, it takes quite some time at the end. And in order to assess it completely, I think this would be too much time now. So we said, okay, we give you the time later. You have a first clue on what it does, and you can trust us, it does it. And it works. We have tested this with multiple initiatives. What we would like to hear from you guys is more or less general assessment of the tool, like we will show it in the slide now. A question: how likely will you use or try and use such a tool, or what is your general impression of the functionality that Michael has presented? And it would be interesting to know. I mean, this is a very, on the one hand, a quick assessment, but it also goes into details if you want. At what stage of the development of an initiative would you suggest to using it? Is it in the beginning to see if we have a chance, or is it when you feel like we are mature and you want to assess it? We want to ask you that one. And to what type, and we assume that you would involve other people. What type of people would you involve in the assessment? So give us, please, the hints on the Slido. You have the code. Did the passcode change? No, it doesn't. You just get some new questions, and you don't have to steal it, Anne-Catherine. You just get the screen from me.
Very nice, thank you. Yeah, the password changed because it's another survey, another poll. And I will do it at the same time on my smartphone just to check that we have the right order, etc. There's no one online. Now, okay.
Yeah.
I will start 2. And share the screen. Can you see it, Ludwig?
Yes, I can see that, and I like the answers.
That's good.
Me too.
Yeah, come on, you put the answer.
Probably this was the 4 answers from us.
No, we said we don't vote, correct? Well, I like the promising, so you get a feeling that if it works, that's cute. It's promising something. Yes, it does.
Yeah, we had a really good feedback from you guys at our last webinar. This was very, very helpful for us.
Yeah.
Andreas, is there anything we can improve?
We will hear it. Ask the question in the parallel session again. Let's go ahead. I mean,
Yeah, okay.
it's nice.
One participant is typing, and then I will jump to the next question.
It's correct when you say small scale. What we wanted to do is something that is easy to use. You get the first answers. I don't know. The record is, I think, in six minutes. But you can dig deeper and deeper. That's the idea.
Yeah, maybe with this question, you can explain what you meant by this, Ludwig, because I was a bit
What was the
confused to use it, to answer to it.
To what degree? So how likely is it that you will use the tool? You have to promise something now.
Independent of if I am a member or a customer or in which status I am. Okay. Okay, good.
Okay.
Nice.
I interpret it like, we'll see. I'm not fully convinced that, but I would consider to use it. But some will definitely. That one question is difficult to decide, of course, because you don't know it in detail yet. But what is a feeling in general? When would you use such a tool? I mean, you know a bit what it is. Would you use it at the beginning? Would you use it after a year or two? Is this open question?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've made it as an
You have
open
to type.
question, just to have different perspectives of, yeah, the different statuses.
You could say in the
development.
beginning, you could say shortly before we die,
Ah, best answer ever.
Several times at each stage. Sounds like, yeah, as a bit as a controlling tool, maybe. That could be an idea. So do we make progress? Michael, if we had a chance to create a version 2, we would ask people to store the first assessment and compare it with the second.
Yeah, definitely.
Did we make progress? This is not supported yet, by the way, but maybe at some point of time.
But you can print the first result and then use it again, like half a year later, if you want to.
Did you say that? Whatever you get as a result, you can push a button that says print?
I didn't say it, no.
No, you didn't say, but you will find many more features. You will like them.
If something to still discover.
Yeah. First, while designing it, and later to assess each year. Okay. So Andreas, I think people see it as a controlling tool to control progress. I think that is something regularly. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Let's go on.
Last question.
As Michal described, I mean, when you will have done your first assessment, you can send emails to whomsoever. Members, customers, neighbors, the mayor. To whom would you invite to help you assessing it? Members? The
The
board?
board and the core team members. Is this the same group? Yes or no, Agnes? Do you have an opinion?
No, because I differ the two groups, because the core team members can be the active members of our team, but the board who has the vote for who has to decide in several questions. So I see these two groups.
Okay.
Agnes, that would be interesting then if you compare with the two spiders, if the board looks at the same like the practitioners.
Yes, two different angles.
In the best case, they are in line.
Yes, if we have to choose the directions, how can we go further? Yes.
Yeah. But we are getting here a bit to the question that we want to tackle then in our parallel workshop. What is a member at all? Who are members? Who are customers in a situation where, for example, you are an energy community where the members supply themselves? Are they then turning from member to customer, or what is it? So that is something that we would like to discuss with you.
There are many versions of it. Many different models.
Okay.
Yeah, I can give you the screen back, Ludwig, as a present. You can take it back.
If you can tell me how I take it now. Somehow I excluded me from using the system.
Maybe me.
Someone excluded me.
Okay.
Was that you?
I'm not sure. So I can finish. Stop it here.
I'm not enabled anymore.
Try it again.
Here we go. Now I can. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So As I said, we would like you to get into a discussion. Of course, you are free to use the tool and discuss it further, but when we developed it, we came across two important questions or topics or issues. The assumption was that every initiative wants to either scale up or replicate. Is that necessary at all? Can't we stay as we are, for example? On the other hand side, it might be something like a driving force that we go ahead, we grow, we are more successful. So let's discuss that. What would be the relevance or benefits or motivations to grow, either in size or in multiplying it? And the other question that we came across, I mentioned it, Agnes, in such an initiative, when it comes to self-supply or energy sharing or whatsoever, which is very often the case, what is the relation of the terms members and customers, or even consumers maybe? But we said, okay, what is the relation of membership and customership? So that's two questions that we would like you to discuss in smaller groups. Again, I said it before, what is upscaling? Okay, upscaling more or less means growth in the same target group with the same organizational structure, possibly the same region, so getting bigger. Replication would mean growth by including different groups, maybe adapted organization to cope with the growth or the other framework, maybe adding additional services, possibly other geographical area. So replicating it, that's this question. The other question, but we don't even know if this is a reasonable definition. Members, people who contribute to the strategy, decision-making, operation of the initiative, ideally they do. The assessment will tell you most of them will not. They are just signed up for something. And the customers, people who use the service product of an initiative for their own benefits without being members of the initiative. The first definition would be the initiative serves someone outside the initiative, and they call them customers. But what is wrong with the members being customers? So that could be something. Of course, both are needed, members in the sense of supporters, also customers in the sense of market success. Let's discuss it. We prepared 2 Miro boards, so it's 2 parts of 1 Miro board. You can get to there, you can decide who draws and who writes, and you can write yourself if you can use the Miro. There will be moderators there that help you doing that. They will introduce a bit in using the tool, but I think most of you are used to do it. The one group, upscaling replication, clearly says, okay, what are the benefits of upscaling an energy community? And maybe in relation to what are the benefits of upscaling other collective actions. So maybe that's a difference. And the other question is, benefits of replication. What would be the benefit that we go for replication? Why should we? In also making a difference between we are an energy community, we are a different collective action. Okay, that would be the discussion here. In the other group, we talk about this relevance of membership and customership. Again, distinction between energy community and collective action, other collective actions. So the moderators will guide you. Go there. You have to select now the group. You will open the parallel group to the selection. Can you do that?
Yeah, you can just join the breakout session, upscaling replication, or members and customers.
Does everybody know how to get there? I always do it with participants, and in the participants list, it shows.
Ludwig and Maike, you will join upscaling and replication, please. And Andreas and me, we will join members and customers. And we will meet again also on the Miro board.
Okay.
Does everybody know how to get there?
If not, I can
You can allocate.
stay here. Yeah.
For
Some
example, in my
minutes.
case, I'm sorry, I don't get it.
Why
Ah.
not?
Okay, you go to the 3 dots. The 3 dots tell you go to breakout sessions, okay?
Yes.
And then you have a selection. I
Yeah.
think I still share it, you can see it. So you enter either the number A, upscaling replication, or B, members customers. So see you in A.
Yes. See you soon.
Can you share the link?
I've shared the link in the chat,
Okay.
and here are 9 people on the Miro board, 4 in the upscaling replication group, and 3 in the members and customers group. So maybe the rest. Yeah, okay. Is joining the other groups. Yeah. Thank you, Ludwig.
How many people did we lose on the floor between the breakout sessions and the main room?
No one, I think.
No.
I've explained that this was a test from our side just to be sure that everybody stays awake.
So, well, in the agenda, it has that we somehow share what we found in the parallel sessions. I suggest that the moderators explain it in 5 minutes or so, and at least in our session with the upscaling, we asked how and why would members want to upscale or replicate. So maybe there's some room for discussion. What was A? Was upscaling number A, so they have to start? Michael?
Well, probably yes. If nobody says something else.
Probably. Shall I show what we have created, or
Yeah, might be good.
okay,
Yeah,
I share what we have created there, and
okay, yeah.
you explain it.
Yeah, so we started with benefits of upscaling with energy community. Well, actually, we had some first discussions, at least, if it makes sense to distinguish between energy communities and collective actions. We said we don't want to spend the whole time on this on defining that, because this was not the main goal. But somehow we see that many things might be relevant for both of these types of initiatives. And when we start with upscaling, we found some benefits that might be there. One thing is to have more prosumers, for example, meaning then that you decrease the CO2 emissions, which of course is always the main goal. And you also might have more excess energy in the community. We had the idea that probably you can be more independent and more resistant if you are bigger, so that you can more easily react to either changes in the outside or own technical breakdowns, for example. You might be able to cover that with other things you have. It enables, of course, a wider access to low-cost renewables. And then we actually had a discussion on if growth always is good or upscaling always is good. Yeah? And we were thinking a little bit about that. Probably growth or upscaling is going in phases, and in some phases it might be easier. And there might be also a critical size for especially communities. And we had the suggestion by Johannes, I think, that 100 might be a good number, so that you are not so big that you can't really handle it anymore. But you are big enough to really react or can do something with this number. Yeah. Any comments to that before I go on? Or should I just go through everything and then we are discussing? Okay. Yeah.
You see. Yeah.
Then we also had a question about the possibility of integrating more services and functionalities. We were not sure if this is a good thing or not so good thing, because of course, on the one hand, it might offer more to your members. On the other hand, we discussed that probably if you have too much functionalities, you might lose your original vision, or probably even the founding members might not be satisfied anymore with what we are doing you're doing in the initiative. So there might be pros and cons of having more services. Yeah. And when it comes to replication, we first of all had a discussion if it is really something that communities or collective actions want. We were quite clear that if you are a new community and you can replicate from a good best practice, of course, it's quite beneficial for you. But the question was, is it also beneficial for the one you are replicating actually? Yeah. And we had some thoughts that it might be a good thing, especially for example, that usually members of initiatives are quite intrinsically motivated and they want to make a better world, so to say. And for that reason, it might be nice for them to see that also others are jumping on what they are doing, and they have the feeling that, or that they see that they are doing good things. Yeah, what else? Then we were discussing, okay, can replication happen alone, or do we need something like a guidance to do that? Yeah? And we were thinking a little bit about that, if probably an umbrella organization might be a good thing if we really want to replicate, that can support a lot of these communities. Yeah, did I miss something?
No. I think at least you touched it. I think what we elaborated a lot on is really this thing, replication, push or pull. I mean, if I'm existing, do I want to replicate something somewhere? Is that a benefit? Yeah, we said, okay, either it's narcissism or we want to change the world. We want this to be replicated. But in many cases, it's also pull effect, that someone has an idea and says, okay, I have heard that in this other region it works, so why don't we do it the same way? So we need to make a distinction between who wants to replicate, and that could be then the reason to implement such an umbrella thing. Andreas, Agnes, yeah?
Quick question. So I heard the word umbrella several times. Can you give me some examples of how could an umbrella organization look like?
Yeah, well, I can do it because I did it in the workshop. I said I know two really good examples that I know. The first one is Empower in Belgium. I mean, where they started it for the first time, and that our good old friend, Dirk van Sintian, he did that, EcoPower. He organized an umbrella organization for many cooperatives. And the last one I met was in the Basque country, the Goyena. The Goyena started with one energy community and they wanted to replicate it. I don't actually know who wanted to replicate it, but at the end, they ended up with an institution, Goyena, that helps to replicate the existing and successful energy communities. And they give guidance, they teach. And I think in that case, they even give some seed money to new cooperatives. That's the two that I know, but I'm sure there are many more. Would be good, Andreas, because I said I'm about to write this piece of document for the Decide, and
yeah,
I think I would write that. I would say that.
A citizen energy community could be an umbrella, or municipal utilities could be umbrellas, just to add on what you said.
Correct, could also be the case.
Agnes.
In Hungary, we are a implementing country, so to say. So we'd like to implement many good practices from the Western side of Europe. But in each and every cases we face that they are not have the financial or the legal circumstances as we have here. So the replication has two problems. For example, we don't have the same mentality as in Western Europe. We are more individual, we are more sufficient, so to say. So we'd like to do something in our own, and it's not a good. So we're not used to do in community something. And the other was the environment. That was the word I was looking for. So the financial environment, the legal environment is not as good, or it's very different from the other countries where are these good practices are. So we cannot replicate. So we have to tailor made for our circumstances, for our environment, and it's not a replication anymore. So we need to learn, study how and what works and what's not working, and synthesize or implement them for our needs.
So it's inspiration and not replication.
Yes, it's correct. Yes, okay. But it cannot be other way. Because in I don't know, Miroslav has the same experience in Czechia, in Prague. We cannot do it like you do in Germany or in Spain, Somenergia, for example, or in Belgium, EcoPower does. We don't have the laws, we don't have the legal framework for that. And we are working on this legal framework and financial framework right now to have the opportunity to develop such models, such business models, such forms, such companies like you have in cooperatives in Germany. For example, we cannot only have energy communities when we are non-profit organizations or cooperatives. In Hungary, the cooperative law is so complicated and so difficult. Nobody wants to establish a cooperative in Hungary. No, just so inspiration and not replication.
An interesting point, at least when it goes cross-border. But even inside countries, it's difficult. Okay. Shall we look at the others? I cannot share because I don't have the link. Can someone else share what you took on the screen? Andreas, did you moderate that? Or?
Anne-Kathrin is here.
Yeah, but you can just move to the right.
Yes,
and then you will find.
Where?
So,
I find it.
Yeah, you will find it. It's the same link.
You can see it now?
Yes.
We live on different continents on the same earth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go ahead. I increase it a bit.
I was off a few times in between because of the technical issues. Maybe.
Don't worry. So we discussed expectations of members of energy communities and customers, and contrasted it to expectations of members and customers of collective actions. Of course, there are gray zones, and some activities can be allocated to both energy communities or collective actions. But yeah, in the case of energy communities, members really want to have democratic rights. They want to be active part of the transition. They want to influence beyond the narrow activities of the energy communities. They would like to be influencers. Benefits, profit, savings are questionable, but they want to take on responsibility for the transition. They want to create a community. They are aware that they will become part of a social experiment, and it's not just a loose membership as in the case of collective actions. It's organized and it's institutionalized. If you go down, the expectations of members of collective actions are also somehow democratic structures and regular meetings, possible to be members and individual, having a right to say, to a certain extent, shared responsibilities, but it's rather informal structures, less responsibilities, maybe also less time you need to invest. Because if I become a member of an energy community, I know, okay, if I'm a good member, active member. I need to go to meetings. I need to spend time. I need to deal with formalities and collective actions. It's maybe just the easier way, but still, members would like to have some right to say, what about customers? For example, EcoPower is a good example of a cooperative where you have shares of production capacities, but it's not localized. It's not a local renewable energy communities, but still, you want to be a shareholder because you have some environmental beliefs. You want to be part of the transition also. You want, of course, you want regional and cheap electricity. I think EcoPower in Flanders is the cheapest supplier of electricity, not only of green electricity, but of electricity in general. You want to learn, you want to be informed about progress, fairness and transparency. The big incumbents are sometimes, we need the big incumbents also for a transition, but they were not made for the current transition. And these kind of structures complement the activities of incumbents that maybe are too slow to change, at least some of them. If we go down, what are the expectations of customers of collective actions? They want easy solutions, ready-made solutions. As customer of a collective action, you have little to say, but you want to be part of the transition also. You want, there's rather one goal to reach, not a broad variety of services. It's more narrow focus, simple, no complexities. But still I want information about what it contributes. Communication, newsletters, but I don't want to invest a lot of time. I want low complexity, easy solutions. So if you look at these four boxes, there are different shades of contributing to the transition, to the energy transition. And the different shades, degrees, and formats, all are valid elements we need. And it depends on the customers, on households, on personalities, on values, beliefs, in which of these boxes I want to be active and allocated. Maybe Anne-Catherine, there's something you want to add?
No, I was just wondering that I've asked also to Gata with the aspects which are posted under the pink areas.
Yeah.
I didn't know, did you discuss about the definition of collective action, or why did you?
So energy communities are rather the implementation of the EU directives, and collective actions. Yes, we discussed that it can be very broad, and also collective purchase activities were mentioned. Collective renovation. It can include a lot of activities that are equally important to form an efficient energy community. For example, renovation on the district level, in a community, maybe cheaper than if individual houses are renovated. You can maybe more strategically allocate innovative technologies if you team up with neighbors. Also, members of collective actions want to learn about energy, and they will speak and will exchange about energy. It's also a platform for discussion, but just less formalized.
Yeah, we didn't mention the learning aspect, I think, in our discussion.
I indicated it that also in collective actions, members or customers speak about the topic energy, but we should emphasize there's a learning effect, of course.
Yes.
Guys, I see Andreas Clare here, and it urges me to ask a question.
Yes.
You put it like members are customers. What is the relation of members and customers? I mean, if it's an energy community, we are members, we do self-supply or something, energy sharing. So we are members and customers at the same time. If you are, in your case, Andreas, you are the CEO of a cooperative, 300 members or so. They are members, but you serve, I don't know, 2,000 customers, the members included. Do you make a distinction between serving the members with energy and the others? Or what is the relation of members and customers?
I mean, the members have a decision-making right. They can shape up the direction and all this. The customers just get cheaper electricity and also contribute.
So we are not differentiating between members and customers. They have all the same product structure and the same prices. But yes, the members, they have the possibility to go to the meetings, and they also participate on the earnings of the community. But they also not, the main profits are not getting out of the community. They're keeping the money in the community to develop the community for the future and for the changing.
It's a good addition, yes.
So,
but we have
community, yes, correct.
Yeah, but so we have whatever 4,000 customers and 300 members, and those members are also always customers. But if we would differentiate between members and customers, then we would get a split in the community, and the community is not the community of our cooperative. We have also, or we embedded in the community of the valley or of the municipality, and so we have to take care on this boundaries as well.
Maybe, yes, that would be worth another workshop. We are coming to an end here, but you know, we had been discussing that a bit. What is the difference in taking your case, where they founded it 100 years ago? Congratulations, by the way. What is the difference of the members of your cooperative and just normal investors in a company? Do they contribute better than an investor? Do they feel like a community with responsibility for the village or what? Or is it just, I mean, we inherited the investment from our fathers?
Mostly. Because it was always like that, but they also having a strong responsibility feeling as well. So because it's settled in the community, and it's part of the community, and so it's not a mainly profit-driven community. But they, on the other side, they are not that active, the members. It's still even difficult to get people for the board, and sometimes we are recruiting new members of the community for being part of the board.
Okay. So what you would say, that people that are in the board, so what we would call the core team. So these members are more like members that we would call members, because they are active, they have a vision, they want to support the development and so on. The others are more like investors, or well, not even customers.
Not even investors, because the money which they set, it's whatever 100 years ago. And I would say it's not really a money investment anymore. And on the other side, I think we have two core teams. So we have the member core team, what is part of the board, and we are professionalized, and we have our employees, and they are the real core team, which are driving the business every day and night.
Well, the discussion takes us, at the end of the decided, I think it takes us to a point where at the end, we have to be a bit more clear. What is the relation of investor, monetary beneficiary, member? What is the distinction? I feel like we should be more clear, because experience is also if 100 people sign up for a community, 10 have a vision, the other 90 follow. Maybe they follow because the neighbor has told them to do so, or they follow because they have a monetary gain. But what we said, Michael, we would like to see real members that share a vision, that drive, they support. That makes at the end the success of something. But how do we do that? How do we foster that? How do we support it? Oh, was that too negative? Sorry. Just trying to get to an end with this session and opening a discussion for the future.
I think we have many new topics for the next 5 webinars.
Yeah. But not without these people doing the tool, right? So who promises to do the tool? We can share it right away. The link to the tool is in the chat, I think. I can show it. Here we go. I can stop here. I can share here. Here we go. We have been discussing, we have been putting it a bit together. With my critical last intervention, I tried to open a bit the door for further discussion, but you are all invited to try the tool. If people take a picture from the QR code, they get to the tool. Is that correct? So do it. We will stay open. I don't know if after 15 minutes we will get thrown out, but we can stay here if you do the tool. If you come back, if you comment, you are free. The official session closes in 4 minutes. The unofficial session goes as long people are there. Take this then as an after meeting. Someone to comment the session so far. Anything that we should give you, that we should communicate to the European Commission, or at least to the leaders of the Decide, something that you want to give us. Many of you will be at the final event in Brussels. Can we share the date? I forgot it. Is it the 19th? The 19th of June. We will be in Brussels. If you want to join us, feel free. It's in the framework of the USEF. So there are many other sessions going on in Brussels. We would be happy to have you there. We will have some nice discussions, panels, and I will try to get some of the answers to the questions that I just raised. Okay.
Now we know what to discuss at the final event. Thanks for all the good inputs.
Agnes has to say something.
I'd like to ask, because I promised a small presentation on this event in Brussels.
Yeah.
I'd like to ask, is there any templates for this presentation with Decide logos and everything? And can I ask for it? Thank you very much in advance. And the other thing is, I'd like to add that we'd like to use this survey or this maturity tool in our knowledge base called, because we are participating in the SHARES project, which is a Horizon 2020 funded project with the Austrian Energy Agency and the German and other Bulgarian, Croatian, and Georgian partners. And we are making a website which is a knowledge base for energy communities and collective actions. And I'd like to implement this maturity tool in this website to have the opportunities, these communities to have the opportunity to test their ideas, their models, and their nature, if it's possible, of course. And we'd like to use the game, the power of community game, and we have the rights from Agata and the Think-E group. So there will be a Hungarian version for schools and pupils. So we will move forward with the Decide project.
Cool.
Nothing wrong with putting even I think these QR code or at least the link. Put it wherever you want. Put some credentials that this is Decide, but then you are fine.
Yes, we will make a short summary about this tool, and yes, of course, when and how was it developed. So, and thanks for this opportunity. Thank you.
Anything else to say, Andreas? Officially, you do the wrap up, but you said I don't.
I already mentioned I'm happy about the dedication of our participants today. We got good input, feedback, and also new ideas that we would take further in Brussels and beyond. This was a very short wrap up because it's already 3 o'clock. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thanks everybody.
Bye. Goodbye.